There's a difference between what a thought is and what a feeling is. And most people have no fucking idea what the difference is. Which means people spend their lives emotionally drowning while thinking they're processing, but they're not processing. They're spiraling. They're mistaking every thought in their head for reality, every fear for intuition, and every emotional reaction for truth. And when you can't separate what your body is feeling from the story your brain is attaching to it, you become trapped inside your own nervous system. Absolutely fucking caged. Because your mind can take one uncomfortable sensation and build an entire courtroom drama around it in under 30 seconds. This relationship is doomed. They secretly hate me. I'm failing. I'm way too much. I'm getting abandoned. Everything is falling apart. Meanwhile, your body is just over here like, hey, babe, I think we might be scared. This is Uncaged Chaos. I'm your host, ANDI, certified life coach, and every week we break down ways the cages in our lives are holding us back and how to unlock the doors and start living freely. Most people think that they are expressing feelings when they're actually just expressing conclusions. I feel ignored. I feel judged. I feel abandoned. I feel disrespected. Those aren't feelings. Those are interpretations. Because feelings happen in the body first. Feelings are tightness in your chest, nausea feeling in your stomach, heat in the face, pressure behind your eyes, tension in your jaw, shaky hands, a racing heart. That is the actual emotional experience. The thought comes after. The thought explains the sensation. It assigns meaning to it. The thought is what creates the story. And sometimes that story is accurate. And sometimes your brain is acting like a feral raccoon digging through emotional garbage, trying to protect you from danger that isn't even happening. A great way to tell the difference is thoughts happen above the neck. Feelings happen below the neck. The distinction matters because your feelings are valid, but your interpretations are not automatically facts. And holy shit, does that sentence make people uncomfortable. Because we built a culture where questioning someone's interpretation gets mistaken for invalidating their emotions. And those are not the same thing. You can fully validate someone's fear without agreeing with the catastrophic Netflix documentary their brain has created around it. For years, I dealt with silent panic attacks almost daily. And at the time, I didn't even fully understand what was actually happening. I just knew my body constantly felt hijacked. My chest would tighten. I couldn't catch my breath. My stomach would drop. My body would feel shaky and heavy all at once. And mentally, my mind would spiral into worst case scenarios immediately. Something bad is about to happen. I'm losing control. Everyone is upset with me. I'm failing. Everything is collapsing. And because those thoughts came attached to such intense physical sensations, I believed every single one of them. And that is the trap. People assume if I feel it strongly, it must be true. Absolutely not. You can feel something intensely and still be interpreting it incorrectly. I felt completely caged, not by reality, but by the stories my nervous system and my mind were creating together. And the fucked up part? The more I tried to think my way out of it, the worse it got. Because panic doesn't calm down when you feed it more analysis. It wasn't until I started understanding the difference between thoughts and feelings that things finally started shifting for me. I realized my body was experiencing fear, but my mind was assigning catastrophic meaning to every sensation. And those two are very different things. And once I could separate the sensation, the emotion, and the story, I could finally stop becoming emotionally waterboarded by every thought that entered my head. That awareness gave me my power back. Not because I stopped feeling anxiety, but because I stopped blindly obeying every narrative attached to it. And here's something most people never realize: feelings do not require language. Your body reacts before your mind explains. You hear a loud noise. Your nervous system jumps before your brain forms a sentence. You walk into a tense room. Your stomach tightens before anyone says a word. Your body is constantly scanning for safety and danger before your conscious mind catches up. The body feels first, the mind narrates second. And unfortunately, some of our minds narrate like we're trying to win an Oscar for Best Psychological Thriller, because thoughts are just stories. Feelings are sensations. Thoughts say, they don't care about me. I'm failing. Something bad is about to happen. Feelings say, my chest feels tight. I'm scared. I feel sad. I'm overwhelmed. One is interpretation. One is a direct experience. And emotional maturity is learning how to tell the difference before your thoughts start driving the damn bus off a cliff. And this gets even more interesting when you realize that some emotions physically feel almost identical, like excitement and anxiety. Both can create a racing heart, adrenaline, sweaty palms, butterflies in your stomach, heightened energy. Physically, they feel insanely similar. The difference often comes down to the thought attached to this sensation. Excitement says, this could be amazing, while anxiety says, this could go horribly wrong. Same body activation, different interpretation, and that is huge. Because sometimes people aren't actually trapped by the feeling itself. They're trapped by the meaning they assigned to the feeling. Your body says, we're activated. And your brain decides whether that activation becomes danger, possibility, fear, anticipation, panic, excitement. And if your nervous system grew up in chaos, your brain will often label activation as danger automatically, even when nothing bad is happening. That realization rocked my shit when I first understood it, because I realized I wasn't always reacting to reality. A lot of times, I was reacting to conditioning. I think a lot of people stay disconnected from their actual feelings because feelings require vulnerability. Thoughts create distance. It's safer to say, you never care about me, than I'm hurt. It's safer to say, you're abandoning me, than I'm scared of losing you. One protects the ego, the other exposes the human underneath. And honestly, people would rather sound right than be emotionally honest. So instead of processing emotions, people build identities around their interpretations and then defend those interpretations like their life depended on it. That's why people stay caged. Not because they feel too much, but because they never learned how to separate feelings from the stories attached to them. One thing that changed everything for me was learning to pause and ask myself 3 questions when I started spiraling. First, what am I thinking? Not feeling, thinking. What is the sentence in my head right now? They're mad at me. Something bad is about to happen. Second, what is my body physically experiencing? Not the story, the actual physical sensation. Tight chest, nausea, heaviness, sweaty palms, tension, shakiness, racing heart. Third, what emotion might this actually be? Fear? Shame? Sadness? Loneliness? Overwhelm? Grief? Process separated sensation, emotion, and interpretation. And that separation gave me freedom, because before that, every thought felt like reality. But after I started practicing this, I could finally say, oh, my nervous system is activated right now. That does not automatically mean the story in my head is true. And honestly, that realization alone started uncaging me. If you never learn the difference between thoughts and feelings, you'll spend your entire life reacting to the stories your mind created in moments of fear, pain, shame, and survival. You'll confuse activation for danger. You'll confuse interpretation for truth. And you will confuse spiraling for self awareness. But healing starts when you slow the fuck down long enough to ask, what am I actually feeling? And what story am I attaching to it? Because your body speaks in sensations, your mind translates those sensations into narratives. And not every narrative deserves your obedience. This is Uncaged Chaos, where we stop confusing survival stories for reality, stop building cages out of assumptions, and remember, being human is the whole fucking point.